but it's
Yes.
also a good time to get in. I think that's very, very wise, actually. Now, you have three sons that in some way, shape, or form have all either been in aviation or are in aviation. What can you tell us about that?
And I gotta give a high five to my daughter because she's tough as nails, but she doesn't want to be a pilot. But she's an industrial designer. But for my three sons, they're very proud of all my kids. My oldest is David Daniel. He went through college, all this stuff. Then he joined the army. He had this program called From the Streets to the Seat, flying a Kiowa, Jet Bell Ranger, close air support, with looking for IEDs and really supporting our troops with Hellfires and rockets and stuff. So that's a dangerous mission. And he deployed. He got his helicopter wings, and he almost died in Afghanistan. And so that was very traumatic. He's tough as nails. I'm proud of how he's fought. I mean, he's a paraplegic, and you know, he lived through that. Both lived through the crash, but he got the brunt of it. And I'm very proud of how he's fought back. And the first time I heard his voice, when you know I came back, and you know he was in Germany in the hospital, and I called a nurse. He goes, "You got to call in a few more hours because he's sedated." So I called a few hours later, and I thought it was going to be the nurse again. So I go, "This is David Ortiz. Can you put the phone to my son David Daniel's ear so he can hear me?" And he goes, "Dad?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "Dad, Dad, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive." And I remember going like, "God Almighty, thank God, thank God." And it was very dramatic. And he tells me, he goes, "You know, Dad, I may not be able to walk after this." I go, "Well, how's your brain?" Because, you know, he's really smart. You know, he goes, "I think it's good." I go, and I kind of joked. I go, "Well, you're not dumber than dirt, so you're going to be okay." You know, I go,
Wow.
"You're going to be okay." You know,
Yeah.
and then so he did that. Now, you know, he's paralyzed, but he's still looking at possibly getting his private license through adaptive flying, which I don't know
Yeah.
much about that. He's a little bit about that, but I'm very proud of him. He's a state representative at the House District 38 in Colorado. He went to politics. I told him it's a dirty business, but he's trying to do good stuff for the veterans and for the other people, for his constituency. So he's into there. Mike was a welder, working in welding. And also, when this stuff happened, it really was traumatic for the whole family, and different family members helped out. Michael he went out there with Dave in Colorado for about a year or so, and so did other family members and relatives, you know. But David, I mean, he fought his way back. So Michael started his aviation career, and right now he's trying to work on a CFII. Matter of fact, I think he's going to have the check right at the end of December.
Oh.
So he's really excited about that. He lives here in Arizona, so I'm very proud of him. Happy for him. Chris is our youngest. He's by far our youngest. He just turned 22. So he's got his commercial license, not commercial, but his private license. He's working on his tail dragger endorsement, and then he's trying to get his commercial. And Michael, I think, is going to go more the instructor route. I think Christopher wants to go more like just get into commercial. You know, I don't know a lot about. I mean, it sounds kind of dumb, but I don't know all the intricacies of the civilian route as far as getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
I know the military route. So, you know, they're working towards that goal. So it's very exciting, you know. And I know when they study, I know we all know, like David and Michael, and we all know, and Chris, I know what it takes. And, you know, they just, you know, all of them have to be disciplined to keep pursuing it.
Yeah, it's tough. And, you know, it's funny because the training to be a pilot, getting all that education down, taking all those certificates, all those licenses and exams, and it's like, it's also cyclical. Because there'll be times when you're like, oh, I'm getting it. You know, I've got the money's here. I can afford to go get my flight instruction, and everything's working out. And then, okay, now this rating is complete, or something happens to my instructor, and now I got to kind of catch back up with a new instructor, or maybe money becomes tight. And so there's all these outside factors that very much prepare you for a career in aviation, just in the process of training for it. So I applaud your sons for getting into aviation and keeping with it. Now, you had mentioned that there's an organization that I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, semperfi.org, that really played a huge role in helping bring back and rehabilitate David into,
Yeah.
being able to come back from such an injury.
Yes, yes, and that's a great organization, simplify.org. Um, they have very little overhead. They were rated like one of the top uh, organizations to helping the wounded, the wounded warrior. And it sounds like a Marine. It was formed by Marine mothers because they knew there was a need, and they serve everybody: Air Force, Navy, Marines, Army, Coast Guard, and they do so much. I mean, my son could tell you so much about that. But I remember, like, my son's refabricating his house in Colorado, or renovating it to make it ADA capable for him, and they donated $50,000 for that.
Wow.
For that, and the Army was like, "Oh, I don't think we can let him have it at first," and then Mrs. Reed said, "Hey, Dave, I'll write you a check. It's gonna mess up your taxes if they won't let him have it, and you can put it towards that." I go, "I don't care. We'll make it happen." And finally, an Army captain said, "You know what? This is crazy. He went to war. He was fighting for us. Now this organization wants to help him to get his house usable for him. We'd be remiss, would be negligent if we wouldn't let him this happen. I mean, come on."
Yeah.
So I'm glad common sense came at the end. But it's a great organization. They do a lot of work, and it's so important because there's some people with a lot of injuries, and there's some people that come back with a lot of PTSD, injuries that you can't see. And not only them, but also their families, their spouses, their kids. So many deployments over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even some effects that we don't even know yet. That's kind of scary. So this organization is very key.
Yeah.